Okay, this week's movie is called Sisu. It is about a Finnish commander at the tail end of World War II who just wants to be left alone and pan for gold, and then Nazis get in the way, and lots of people die in various violent and bloody ways. This is the movie that's normally right in my wheelhouse. I love this kind of stuff, and yet I did not love this movie. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, click on that red subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know whenever I post a new piece of content. Sisu. Saw a trailer for this a couple months ago. Really intrigued. I love a good revenge thriller, and this is that. I didn't love this movie as much as I thought I would. It's got all the kind of hallmarks of a film like this. It's got a bit of a sense of humor. It's extremely graphic. It's extremely violent. It's very over the top. And it's just kind of a good, fun time. The movie also has a moment in like the last 15 minutes, I'd say 10 minutes, where it just goes completely off the rails and it lost me altogether. It takes a lot for a movie to do that. This guy, Tommy, is in the middle of nowhere. He just wants to be left alone. It's the end of World War II. Given that World War II was not a good time for anybody, that checks out and makes sense. He's got his dog. He's got his horse. He ends up coming across a Nazi like squadron or platoon. They end up fighting one another. The gold is involved. There's landmines. People get stabbed in the head. People explode. It's that type of movie. And let's be honest, like killing Nazis in movies is always a good time. There's never a bad time to do that. And yet this movie is this weird kind of mishmash of like John Wick meets BJ Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein. Like this seems like a mishmash of John Wick has a baby with Wolfenstein, Sisu exists, enjoy. And it's simply not as clever as it thinks it is. It is very straightforward, but at the end, it just completely derails itself. You could say it jumps the shark. It almost leans too hard into what it's trying to do. And I guess the Finnish phrase Sisu can't actually be translated into English, but it like roughly means, you know, like complete and sheer determination. And there's this kind of like running thread throughout the movie, which is that our main character is basically like unkillable. He's clearly human, and that's very like graphically portrayed throughout the film. And yet it like leans so hard into the mythos of this character that it just doesn't really work. It does until it doesn't. And the movie's smart until it isn't. And it's clever until it's not. So that's kind of a running theme throughout this movie, is that like cool concept, neat idea. It's pandering to a specific type of audience. The movie is everyone speaks English. There's like a little bit of subtitles, but it's like this movie isn't going for authenticity, even though it kind of seems like it is in the beginning. Yeah, I don't know. I liked this one. I didn't love it, and it really lost me at the end because it just went like completely over the top with the character. This movie, you could, I understand what they're doing with the title of the movie, right? The like sheer determination aspect of it, but eventually, when your main character becomes completely like laden in plot armor, the movie just doesn't work. It's one thing to have a character that's indestructible for a reason. It's another one to do it just because it's convenient for your movie. And that's what Sisu kind of struggled to grasp for me. So I liked it. I didn't love it. It's not as good as it thinks it is. And yeah, that's really, if you like watching Nazis get their heads blown up, then there is stuff to like in this movie for sure. So thanks for checking out the video. If you liked it, found it helpful, I hope you would consider subscribing. You can also like and share it. That tells the powers that be it's worth promoting. And hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.